Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Right Path podcast, where being an author, an actual author, still matters. This is the podcast that's for authors, it's about authors, and it's done by an author. Folks, this is where we share our journeys, we explore our creativity, and most importantly on this show, we examine the why behind it all. Our guest today is going to do exactly that. Folks, today we have with us psychotherapist, author of Give Back the Pain, and founder and creator of the Source Completion Therapy. So can't wait to hear more about that. Please welcome to our show, Dr. Robert Bleck. Doc, how are you doing today?
So far, so good. It's nice to be here. Thanks for inviting me, and glad to be with your audience as well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that very much, and thank you for coming on. Now, I know we've got the book, we've got the therapy to talk about, but one thing we talk about in this program is the why behind it all. And so, I know you're anxious to share your story, and frankly, I think everybody's anxious to hear it. So, why don't you go ahead and just get started there?
Sure. So the start of my life was really difficult and painful for me. My mother, who was abused herself, was filled with anxiety, anger, and rage. And she started to abuse me when I was about 3 years old. Just about every day, she would beat me. She would humiliate me and degrade me. When she beat me, sometimes was with her fists. Sometimes it was with a spoon, a kitchen wooden spoon she loved. Sometimes it was a shoe, whatever was near a wooden hanger she would use. She liked just to torture me and torment me, basically, and it was very painful for me. Um, in fact, one creative way she did. One time I woke up with a nightmare. I get but again about 3 years old, and I went into my parents' room for some kind of comfort. So she grabbed my arm, pulled me back to my bed, and began to tie me to the bed. The ropes went under the bed, over my chest. So as a little boy of 3 years old, I was terrified. I thought I was being killed.
Hmm.
So it was really, really difficult.
Wow.
So, do you have a question
Yeah,
about?
no,
Yeah.
not at all. I just said, wow, I'm sorry. But yeah, please go on.
Yeah, so I had to figure out we fast forward to about 9 years old. And I began to develop a great passion for others, a great compassion and a great sensitivity and a great empathy for those who suffered or struggled in some way, whether you were bullied at school, whether you were sick, whether you were had some injustice committed onto you, or whether you're grieving a loss in some way. I really felt bad about those people. And I said somewhere that was the foundation of what I wanted to do for my life. I wanted to help you and help humanity in some way. So I had to figure out how am I going to survive my home? How am I going to survive, to do that? I had to survive my own discomforts and my own abuse. So I found nature to be really comforting for me. I would get up in the early morning. I'd watch the sunrise just about every day, and I would listen to the birds sing. And I thought they were singing to me, so I found some comfort with that. I also found a comfort in sports. I became an athlete, and it gave me confidence, and it gave me a camaraderie, and it could get me out of the house, so I wouldn't experience any more torture. So that gave me temporarily, it gave me an escape. It gave me some comfort in the present. I knew though deep inside I had all these feelings. I felt anger inside. I felt I didn't trust anybody. And I felt terrified, basically. I was terrified of the dark. I slept with the light on until I was in my teens. I had nightmares and night terrors. So, and I bit my nails. I had all of those symptoms. Um, and we'll get to them more when I talk about my book. But I had all those symptoms, so I know it wasn't finished growing. That the two things, nature and sports, helped me survive to get out of the house. So we fast forward again. I got a degree in psychology as an undergraduate, and then I went on for my PhD in counseling at in graduate school. So right after that, I worked in schools, I worked in clinics, and then I had a job I got a job as a professor at a university. They wanted me to develop their child counseling program. And then I opened a private practice as well. So I began getting referrals from people who were abused also as children. And I said, let's give it a try. And although I helped them, I wasn't satisfied with the long-term permanent healing that I wanted from my clients and that I wanted for myself as well, because I went to therapy to try to heal as well. So none of the therapies I was trained in by themselves were doing the trick. And none of the therapy I went to was doing the trick. I knew I still had more to go. So what I looked at what worked, what didn't work, and I put together this three-phase sequence of therapy, and that's called source completion therapy.
Hmm.
And that gave me the success that I wanted. I gave me long-term healing for the people I dealt with and myself. I went through my own program. And I'm proud of it. I healed countless thousands of people over the years, and I'm proud of that. And it's nothing that I'd rather do for the rest of my life is help human beings and help you out
Nice.
there.
Nice. Source completion therapy. I have a couple of questions, then I want to get back to that, if that's okay.
Sure. Yes,
Um,
of course.
yeah, very often, when we are in that position of being the child that's being treated that way, being abused, we think it's normal because we don't really know anything else. We don't talk about it, of course, and we can't compare it to our friends or anything else. Was there a particular point in time, or a moment, or maybe an age where you kind of realized, hey, this isn't the way things are supposed to go?
That's an interesting question. For me, I was at age 5. I knew that this wasn't right.
Wow.
Not all my clients feel that way. They think that it's normal and they deserve to be hit. They deserve to feel worthless. They deserve to feel inadequate. Those are the feelings that are created,
Right.
but when a person is abused. So I knew at 5 that something was wrong. So I just knew I had to get out. That was the thing. And 9, I felt the compassion.
Right.
So let me just go over what happens when I continue with what feelings are developed when a child or when you are and even an adult is hurt. Um, all sorts of feelings, negative feelings, come up. They feel inadequate. They feel worthless. You could feel unloved. You feel
Right.
empty. You feel betrayed. You feel rage inside of you. So those are just some of those insignificant, unimportant, not good enough. Those are some of the feelings. The psychological issue that what happens is we don't want to feel those feelings. None of us do. So we stuff them down, we repress them, and what happens is they become a emotionally toxic brew that's ready to burst out. The subconscious wants it to burst out because you don't want to feel them, and it's like eating a bad meal, like having food poisoning. Your body throws those feelings out, throws that poison out in basically every orifice. It's the same thing with your subconscious. It wants to push these feelings out. Consciously, you don't want to feel them because they're too painful. So what happens is they get diverted into all of these um, unwanted behaviors, obsessions, compulsions, panic attacks, eating disorders, phobias, intense rage and inappropriate rage, like road rage. It's coming out and they get diverted because our conscious doesn't want to feel. And those are the behaviors I wanted out for you. And what this source completion therapy did, it got to the feelings, raised them up, raised them to the surface, got them out, and all of those diversions dissipated and disappeared. And that's what I wanted for all the people that I work with.
Interesting. Now, you mentioned that you were going to therapy yourself for what was
Yes,
going on with you. Okay. And then, of
yes,
course, you're, a psychotherapist. So, um,
yes.
now, did you decide to start building this alternative therapy, this source completion therapy? Did you decide to start putting that together, or did that start to form based on things that you needed and weren't getting in the therapy you were going through?
Correct. Correct. I wasn't
Got it.
getting the deep-seated therapy that would really get these feelings out of me. And then I knew I'd be healthy. See, I really knew instinctually and professionally. See, so many therapies, they work, behavioral therapies work on a behavior, stop smoking, stop drinking. But if you just work on the behavior, if the feelings are still inside, what's going to happen? It's going to come out in another way. So I said to myself, professionally and personally, I said, let me get the feelings out. Then I'm betting that all of these diversions would evaporate. And that's what happened. So
Hmm.
again,
Interesting.
I had to
Yeah.
work through that until I came up with thinking about this. I said, well, this wasn't working. I mean, even Freud talked about making the unconscious conscious. That's a basis of my first phase, or my second phase, but that wasn't enough. It's not enough to heal that. I needed to go more to get those the really deeper feel. Just to making it conscious isn't enough. We have to do something when they come up to the surface. So that was part of my therapy as well. That was the second and third phase. Some other therapies, Gestalt talks about awareness. Some of that was okay, but it still wasn't enough. No basic therapy that I knew of, and I was trained in many, many of them, had all these three components to them, and it was so comprehensive.
Now, how long have you been practicing this particular type of therapy?
Let's see, decades,
Oh my goodness.
decades,
It's been out there for a minute. All
maybe
right.
30 years.
All right. And now it's so you've been practicing this. That's
Yes,
it's working.
yes.
Was it that you just wanted to share it with more people? I mean, what was the purpose of putting all of this down into a book called Give Back the Pain?
Oh, that's such a good question. And thank you.
Sure.
Um, so what happened is people were feeling great. They were feeling healed. They were feeling I've changed their life from dysfunction to functionality. And they said, Bob, this is so good what you've done. Why don't you put it in a book so you could help more people? And I thought about it and I thought about it. And I said, I'm going to try to do that. And that was the motivation.
Nice. Nice. Now, the book, I assume that it outlines a little bit about the program itself,
Yes,
the source completion therapy. Yes.
it
Okay.
does. But what I do with it is unique also. And I've never read a book on psychology that does what I did. Through stories and snippets of each of the people or many of the people that I worked with, I go into the stories of their childhood and it's from their point of view and how they were abused as I'm teaching. So I show how they heal and as I'm teaching it. So it's interesting. People said it reads like a novel, Bob. This is great. I want to know more about each character. But they were just snippets and little stories so I could teach the therapy. So
Hmm.
that's what I did for
Great.
everybody out there.
Okay. Now, are you the only one teaching this therapy? Pardon my ignorance.
Um, I've trained people. I don't know. I wasn't always satisfied the way they did it. I wanted to do it the way I did it. So I
Right.
basically do the work at my center. It's the only one that I know that is clear is and comprehensive that's out there right now. Some if you ever read Jung or some of those therapists, sometimes they're so complicated. Mine is really clear. I wrote this book so you could understand it, so everybody could understand it, where their source of pain comes from, and that's usually who hurt you. That's what I asked them to ask the question, and
Mhm.
that starts the first phase of the therapy. But it's so clear, it's comprehensive, clear, and really in-depth therapy. That's what it
Interesting.
is. It's
Interesting.
not it's not you can't go to for one weekend and say you're cured. I've seen these things, these seminars or whatever they do. I would run away from that as soon as you can because that's not going to happen if you've really been hurt and it's been years since you have all these feelings stuffed inside.
Interesting. So in terms of the way the book is laid out,
Yes.
you mentioned that it's very simple, for people to kind of connect with.
Yes.
Does someone, however, have to have some sort of therapy background or having been to therapy themselves to kind of start the journey, or can you be like, I have a problem, I'm not sure what it is, maybe I should take a look at this book.
You could be a layperson, never been in therapy before, or you could
Okay.
be an advanced in therapy. It's good for anybody. The beauty of the book, I thought, was to help you understand what's going on with you. Why am I drinking so much? Why am I smoking so much? How come I'm gambling my house away and my life away? What's going
Mm,
on with me? So it gets them connected to the feelings that are inside, and then how to heal from those feelings.
right.
So for
So
anybody could do it.
sure, identifying who hurt you
Correct.
and I heard you mention that. I got to read that quite a bit when I was, doing some research on this to talk to you today.
Right.
Who hurt you seems to be a pretty central point
Right.
of what you're working on.
Yes.
Why the focus on that so much as opposed to, the hurt that was done? I mean, who hurt you seems to be a pretty big deal.
Well, it is because you want to know who hurt you. For me, it was my mother,
Right.
so that I know. But if a person or you're repressing all those feelings, a lot of people come to me. All they have is the symptoms. They don't know where the symptoms come from. So it was a father, or your mother, your sister, an uncle. That's crucial to begin the process. Then you could get to the feelings that arose from being hurt,
Hmm.
and then you complete the process. The last phase is completion. So then you're cured, you're healed by the third phase.
Great. No, I know a lot of folks take a little while to kind of realize they have these issues. Sometimes, unfortunately, we have to go down some dark paths and make some pretty big mistakes, to notice the pattern of behavior that has to be, kind of
Correct.
handled.
Correct.
Um, it sounds like there's no time limit on this, though. Never too late to start type of thing.
Correct. No, never too late to start at all. You could start. I've had people come to me in their 50s, and they're lost. There was somebody, an alcoholic gentleman, came to me in his 50s, didn't realize what was going on. When we got to it was his parents. They were neglectful. He was abandoned by his father. His mother didn't was not affectionate. He yearned. He felt empty inside, unimportant, insignificant, and he used alcohol to comfort that. He self-medicated, and so he didn't know all the people that had hurt him until he was in therapy. And then once he got in therapy, in the second phase of the process, I have them go back in time using hypnosis, self-hypnosis, visualizations to the events that where they were hurt. And so I'm closing my eyes because I have them do that, and that brings up all the more feelings right to the surface. And then in that phase, I have them do some people when they're exploring their feelings more in that phase, they like to write about it. I have some artists that like to do art with it. They draw pictures of the abuse and what they feel. I've worked with singers, award-winning singers who like to write songs about it, what would happen to them. So whatever is in that second phase, I'm really getting to the meat of the feelings of the person. Um, so that's what happens in the second phase.
Well, I mean, I love what you're doing here. The another question, if you don't mind.
Oh, ask them. I love the questions. I thank you so much for the questions.
Not at all. I appreciate it. I have a little bit of experience with going to therapy for this exact type of thing. So some of this is ringing through my head, pretty harshly. Um, I'm wondering if one of the reasons, not to take anything at all away from the therapy itself, but I'm wondering if one of the reasons it's so powerful is because it's coming from you, someone who actually has that experience. Is that a part of it, do you think?
I think it's a great part. For years I didn't think about it, but what it did for me is have the compassion and understanding of what each person goes through. So what you go through, you come to me. I really understand the feelings that are inside of you, and I know how to get them out. And when I get them out, that's your healing. And that,
Yeah.
so I did know that. Actually, sometimes I say to my wife, sometimes I'm grateful for what my mother did because it showed me um, I have so much compassion and understanding that it makes me a better therapist.
There you go. I mean,
Kind
there's
of
a silver
twisted in
lining,
some
right?
ways, but it actually does. Because I'm healed. I use this process, and I'm mother. The last phase is to confront the person who are your persons. You tell them what they did, how it made you feel, et cetera, how it affected your life. So I told my mother all that, and I healed. I don't have the anger. I don't sleep with the light on anymore. I shut that off. And I could enjoy life, and I do. So, and that's what I give to my people that I work with me.
Excellent. Back to the book and how you've put this into the written form and into the book to try and reach more people, help more folks. I'm
Yes.
curious as to the goal of the book. And is it to just raise the awareness that you may be having these issues, or is it to get people to say, "Hey, I have these issues and I should pursue help"?
Guess it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
I want to raise the issues, raise their awareness. They can start using the book. The book is a guide. It's a sort of a self-help guide through the process. And if they get stuck in any way, I say, well, then you could go to a professional and continue the process. The book is really clear on what you need to do. I go through the three phases and what you would need to do to heal. Um, I also never rush this process, Rory. I never, each person has their own pace. Each person is when they get to phase two, it's frightening to them to really go and dig up feelings that have been buried for maybe 10, 15, 20 years. So uh, whenever they go there, I always say, well, if you're not ready to go further, let's stop. We'll stop. And when you're ready, we'll continue, you know.
Right.
And they have to trust me also be able to do that with me, that work. And that takes time as well because they've been really hurt.
Sure.
So
Yeah. People who've been through this kind of thing don't trust very easily at all.
correct.
It's,
As I didn't.
right.
But when I healed, I trust more people. Not everybody, because I have to weigh, is this person trustable that wants
Right.
to have my bank account and have all my social security number? So I mean, I'm not going to trust that so easily, but
Right.
other people I would.
I understand. I understand. You've mentioned the three phases several
Yes.
times. I
Right.
would never ask any author to give away the secret sauce of their book, of course, because hey, if you want to know, buy the book, right? But by the same token, could you maybe go into a little bit about what those three phases are? Just maybe kind of gloss over them, giving people an idea.
Sure. I don't care about the money for the book buying. What I care about is the people getting help. So
Yeah,
I'm glad to share that.
great.
So you want me to go over the phases
If you don't
individually?
mind, yeah, I'd love to hear more. Just a little bit about
Sure.
what the phases are, so that
Sure.
people have an idea when they
Right.
pick up the book.
I gave you hints of it. So the first phase, basically, I call awareness, but what it is who hurt you.
Right.
So I have let people get in touch with who hurt them, and I use techniques like dream interpretation and a person's body language in that. So like
Oh wow.
that because your body is speaking to you. So I'll give you an example. So the young woman came in. I think she was maybe late 20s, suffering from rashes. She had rashes all over her body for months. And they were painful. She went to doctors, gave her salves and creams and shots and oral medication. Nothing was helping. She went to the hospital for it. So the hospital knows my work. They referred her to me. So one of the first questions I asked her after I got her address and it was, the intake, I said, let's look under the skin for what's going on. What is your body saying under the skin? So she looked at me. Well, no one ever, I went to loads of doctors. No one ever asked me that question. So she said for a second, she looked at me again and she said, that's the poison that's in my body for when I sat on my grandfather's lap and he molested me when I was really young child. Okay. And it's still in me and I feel it. Okay. So that's now this young person is aware of who hurt them. And then we go on to the second stage. I use dream interpretation in that first stage if you'd like that as well, Rory.
Yeah, please.
So the way I like to, there are a number of ways to interpret dreams. The way I like to interpret them, help you interpret it, is to see each person or thing in the dream as a part of you. Okay, that's how I like to do it. So this woman, the woman came in and says, I'm dreaming this recurrent dream, Dr. Black. I'm dreaming it. I see a castle in front of me. And the castle has all these openings. I guess there's no windows, but they were like windows without the glass. And in each window was a weapon of war. There were bow and arrows, there were spears, there were catapults. I mean, they had grenade launchers, they had machine guns, pistols, guns. And in front of the castle is a moat filled with alligators and vicious creatures. I said, I can't, and she said to me, I can't interpret this. Can you help me? I said, take a look as if the castle's a part of you. And she says to me, interesting. Wow. She says, wow, that's the part of me that wants to protect me from being hurt. I don't let people close to me. I don't let people near me. I don't want that. I want to stay protected all the time. However, the reason I came to you is because I'm very lonely, I'm empty, and I miss something in my life. I feel empty. So that was a starting point, looking at the dream interpretation from this woman, and then we continue to the second phase.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, the second phase, I use again visualization. I use hypnosis, and I teach the person in the book. I teach you in the book how to do that yourself. Use hypnosis and visualization to go back in time in your mind of the events that hurt you and feel with all the five senses. your sights, your sounds, your smells, tastes, if there's any. All of those senses feel it like it was happening right now. So some people are a little frightened. They see it as a movie. I'm closing my eyes for that reason. And some see it as they go back as they were as a child. They go into the actual film itself. And that brings all the feelings to the surface. It starts to bring this up. Okay. And then the third phase, once there's all, and this takes time. It's not like overnight. It takes time to get here. Um, and the third phase, it's called completion. The second phase is called relive, release, and relive and re-experience. The third phase is called completion because with all the feelings that you have now, you're aware of it. Um, you know what you felt as a child or even as an adult, because adults who are hurt as adults, they have feelings inside, and I want them to express them also to whoever they thought hurt them. So the third phase completion, you go to the source who hurt you and tell them how you feel about what they did to you. Okay. Now, some people ask me the question, well, Bob, suppose my father's dead. Okay. So I said, well, then you could write to him, still could write to him. You could go to the grave, talk to him. You could use like this, social media. You could use Zoom. You could use any way you want. You can use an iPhone. However you want to do it. They used to use faxes, but that's not it. They don't use that anymore. So
Right.
whatever way, it doesn't matter if they're going out of your life. You could still the feelings are brought up. You could express them. The idea is to express these feelings so you don't hold on to them. So the one of the women that I worked with, she went to the grave. Her father raped her when she was young. She came to me. She wasn't taking as an adult. She came to me. She was not able to sleep in a bed. She slept on the floor, and she was not able to take showers. She should sponge bathe herself. So I had to get to the reasons. So when we got to the reasons, it was her father who was raping her in the bed and raping her in the shower. So she couldn't do that for years after he died.
Hmm.
So she came to me. We got what happened to her, and her father was dead. She went to the grave. To talk to him. She had the knife that he used. He would hold a knife threatening her when he was raping her. So she took the knife to the grave and she was stabbing the grave and saying, you ruined my life. You hurt me. You violated me. You betrayed me." And all this came out, and then what wound up, and when she was in that completion stage, after a while, she was able to sleep in the bed. She was able to take the showers. She was able to have relationships which she never had before because she didn't trust anybody. She went on to become a social worker and lived this fruitful and productive life and a joyful one at that. She had children as well. So that's the way it could help you. It could help you heal from the deep emotional wounds um, and live a decent and productive and fruitful life. And that's
Right.
joyful for me.
Wow. Wow.
Make sense?
Yes, it does. It sounds like this could take, like you said, this could take a while to go
It
through with people.
it does for most people,
Yeah.
and I'm sometimes not. Sometimes people are so. There's three things that it takes. It takes commitment, it takes courage, and it takes perseverance. The process.
Okay.
One Once in a while, I have a person who is so committed. They're working every day, almost every hour of this, and they take less time. But for most people, it is a different for each person. That's how I'd answer it.
Sure.
The one who had a really short amount of time because they were so eager and so passionate about working this.
Yeah.
This was a singer I work with, again, award-winning singer. What happened with her? She was referred. She saw me on a podcast, and she read my book, and she said, "Would you please help me? I've been to therapists and it's not helping me. In fact, I've been to behavioral one, I've been to EMDR, and what I felt was that I felt worse. I felt more like a failure
Hmm.
because I wasn't getting well. So, but I saw what you were talking about. I read your book and it made sense. Would you see me?" I said, "Yes, I would see you." So we worked virtually. We got to the point of who hurt her, and it was her father who abandoned her, was cruel to her. was non-affectionate with her, made her feel insignificant, unimportant, no good, defective. So we got to those are the feelings we got to. She began writing to him. She began talking to him, and her career is flourishing now. And she was in toxic relationships also before that. She was taking drugs. So the drugs were eliminated, the toxic relationships were eliminated. So she's living in, again, a really terrific life now. So,
Well, I'm glad to hear that. It sounds like you've had quite a bit of success with this. When when people kind of break out of the norm of their profession and then they
yes.
start to have success with something that might be a little bit off the beaten path, sometimes there's blowback. Did you get any kind of resistance from maybe your colleagues or anything like that?
You know, I haven't, the only reason I can think I haven't is because I used bits and pieces of what I know had worked. I
Hmm.
just put it into a sequence. So I say, well, if anyone ever asks me that, I say, well, do you discredit Freud for what he did? No. Do you discredit Fritz Perls for what he did? No. Do you discredit Carl Rogers? Do you discredit um, we call it art therapy, music therapy, writing therapy? Do you discredit that? They said no. So that's it. That's what I put a sequence together that uses a mixture of all of those. And it's a deep process. It's not just healing symptoms. If you just try to heal symptoms, Rory, it's like taking a pus-infected wound. You see all the pus here, it's all red around, and putting a Band-Aid on it, okay? It's not going to go away. So you
Right,
have to go in there. You got to clean out the pus and clean out the infection, put the peroxide and what a bacitracin on. Then it heals. So
right.
you have to heal it from the inside. You can't just heal it from the outside.
Absolutely. Oh, well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad that it's, been accepted and you're not getting a lot of grief for it.
I think
Um,
perhaps as I out in the world now, I'm doing more work out in the world. I might, but I would answer them the same way I answered those people who told me that. Well, do you discredit all those people that came before us, the pioneers of things?
there you
So
go.
that's
Well,
how I
if it's
would
all
answer.
based on sound research that everybody else accepts, then what are they
It
going to say
is.
to
Yeah, exactly.
you? Love it. In terms of putting this out in book form,
Yes.
I mean, this is your first book, is that right?
Actually, it was the second book that I
Second
wrote
book.
with a partner, but that was more of his works. This is more my work. So,
I see. All right. Well, that's a great thing to know too. I didn't realize that, and I apologize. Since
no.
you've already been through the process a little bit, how different was it doing that on your own and having to, navigate the idea of getting a book done, printed, edited,
Yeah,
approved, published, and so on and so forth?
exactly, exactly. It was a mixed feelings. I had mixed feelings on it. It was really difficult to go into when I told you about these stories,
Hmm.
I went into every person who was hurt and I had to feel those feelings. So that was really, really difficult.
Yeah,
After I finished a chapter or a story, I would have tears because I was involved with their pain. So that was really difficult for me. But to see the product being produced, taking form as I went through it, was terrific. I enjoyed that process. I
excellent.
had mixed feelings on it, but I'm so glad it's out there and people could use it. So.
Sure. Did you go through a traditional publisher or a hybrid publisher? Did you self-publish? How'd you decide to do that?
It's a good question. It's a great question. So I went to a traditional publisher at first, and I went on a tour. They sent me on a tour. They liked the book, and I was really happy with them. And about five years maybe into it, this publisher went out of business.
Oh no.
So so okay. So I
Ouch.
said, oh, okay. So I didn't know what I wanted to do with it, but this publishing house that was just starting. They said to me, look, we need a backlist. I think it was self-publishing, I guess it was. We need a backlist. We heard about your book might be available for our backlist. We're not going to charge you anything, and we'll give you a nice, good things on royalty. We will give you a good deal for it. Would you go with us? I said, fine, and that was it. So that's where I went with.
Well, that's nice, neat, and clean. That's
It is. And now
excellent.
I'm with a media company now that wanted me to go with them to get more world exposure.
Hmm.
And they want me to what do we call it? Redo something of it, update it, and they want me to you know take it to their publishers. So I'm thinking about what I'm going to do with that now. But it would be the same concept. This one might be called Who Hurt You. So that's what we're looking into.
See, okay, as opposed to give back the pain. Gotcha.
Yeah, same ideas. It's the same ideas, same it'll be stories and th same kind of things.
Sure. If people want to pick it up, they can still find it on Amazon, though, right? Is that
Yes,
the deal? Okay.
Amazon. It's available in a Kindle. It's available in paperback. Barnes and Noble. I know knows carried it.
Mhm.
I know they carried it.
Have you
It's
done the
available.
audiobook yet?
I didn't do an audiobook. No,
No?
I didn't do that. I don't.
Okay.
I just haven't.
I was saying you should do it in your voice with your accent. I think that'd be great.
Oh, thank you, thank you. And I love your voice, by the way. It's soothing to me. It's
Thank you.
comforting. I
Appreciate
love it. Yeah.
that. Thanks for that. All right. I love what you're doing here. I love that you put this kind of thought into this topic. I think a lot of us who have been through this kind of thing, sometimes we kind of feel like cattle. Like, okay, this is our issue. We were abused or we were beat up or we were, this or that when we were kids. And I think a lot of the folks that I talk to about these topics, I have 10 podcasts, so I interact with people in a lot of different ways about these issues. Um, by and large, I get the idea that they feel very much sort of processed. Like there's a list of ingredients or a bunch of boxes you got to check, and this is how you handle this kind of thing. With this, it really sounds like it's much more personal. Am I getting that right?
You are. It is personal. And they could go at their own pace. They could use other things too. They could use meditation, yoga. You can exercise, all other behavioral programs while they're doing what I do
Mhm.
with them. So if you want to do the yoga, you want to do meditation, you could go on to weekends, weekend retreats. You could use that as well, but they won't take the feelings away. They won't take the feelings away. So if you want to really get the deep feelings away and really eliminate those, what I call diversions, you could call them symptoms, dysfunctional behaviors. It doesn't matter what you call them. If you want to get rid of those, you have to go deep and get rid of them.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, I love that you've created this. I really do. When it comes, let's go back to the book just for a moment,
Sure,
if that's okay.
sure. Yeah, everything
Uh,
you want.
when it comes to, putting the book out and that type of thing, was there anything about putting this into book form and then getting the book out that was a little bit of a surprise to you? Or maybe it was different than how you thought it was going to be going in?
No, because I had a traditional publisher for my first book
Right.
with my partner, so I knew the process. I knew we had an agent, and the agent sought the publisher for us.
Mhm.
So I really did know the process,
Okay.
and I was comfortable. The first one I had, the first traditional publisher I had would Give Back the Pain. I really liked them. They were a smaller outfit. They just did self-help books.
Mhm.
And I was really close to the editor on this book, and we were always communicating, and it was easy to get to her. It was you didn't have to go through 10 phone calls. So I like that. It was intimate. That's the word I'm looking for.
Right.
So I like that idea. I was really disappointed when they went out of business because they were really good company.
When they went out of business like that, did that just leave a bad taste in your mouth and you said, hey, I'm not going to do this with a publisher again? Or did you go looking for publishers and then decide to go the other way?
No, it didn't leave a bad taste. I mean, life happens, things happen, and
Sure.
I accept it. I understand that from every point of view, including what I went through.
Right.
I just got this call. I was about to go to other publishers, but I got this call again about the backlist, not costing me any money, that they would be very fair with me in the royalties that you call it. And I said, okay, just it's out. I want it out there. That was my goal, to get it out there as fast as I could. So I went, and no regrets. I'm happy with it.
Nice. Must have been quite the sales pitch to knock you off your feet like that.
Well, they were good at what they did. Yes.
Good, good, good. Now, with a self-publishing outfit, I can't speak now. Normally, we end up doing a lot of our own promotion, advertising,
Yes.
that type of thing. So, have you hired someone to do that, or are you doing that yourself?
Well, I didn't for a long time, and I got a call recently from a really major media company, really major, that would really take me worldwide.
Hmm.
So I signed with them,
Okay.
so to do that, and
So they're
that's
doing all of it for you. They're
they will
taking
they
it
will
all.
do the and teaching me and training me and molding me, in this world, with the world of I guess promoting and marketing. I didn't really know as much as these people know. So,
Sure. Well, that's great. All
and they
right.
liked my passion, they said, because they saw me on a podcast, this company. They liked my passion and they liked my power and they loved the intention of what I was doing with my life. And
Excellent.
they said you'd be great. You would be great for us. We could help you as well. So
Excellent. Well, I love that you're out here doing podcasts too, because I get to talk to you. So that works out good for me.
thank you,
But,
Rory.
while you're out here doing podcasts, that is that something you've enjoyed doing? Promoting the book?
Yeah, I just really started getting back. Most of the energy for the last couple of decades I've been spent really in the healing. That's who I focus my time and energy on, just the healing, the therapy, doing the therapy. So recently, maybe about the last year or so, I said, well, let me see if I could reach out a little more, And I said, let's do it with podcasts. And I've been invited, and as we did, we connected,
Yeah.
and I've been enjoying it. I like to. It's another way to reach out. I'm happy to do it, and to meet hosts like you. I think you're terrific.
Thanks. I appreciate that. All right. So as you've been, promoting the book and getting this out there and doing everything that you're doing, um, was there anything throughout the entire process, from the creation of this to today, that you look back on and maybe you wish you had done a different way? Or have you really been happy with the whole process all the way through and you just feel like you've been guided?
I've been happy on the process all the way through. I don't have any regrets about anything. I think some of the things when I redo the book or update it, which I'm going to do, I think I want to update certain things that were maybe outdated. Maybe a movie I mentioned that happened a long time ago. I would update certain things like that,
Nice.
and certain things that I would want to add to the book that I would want to do. But other than that, I've been happy and satisfied. I'm happy to help people and help you out there as much as I can. That's my life's work, and it's my intention to continue to do that for as long as I can.
Excellent. I do have two more questions for you.
Sure.
Before we get to that, though, I don't want to forget this. What's the best way for people to reach you, find your book, that type of thing? Let's make sure we get that covered real quick.
Sure. Okay, so it's really simple. RobertBleck.com. So that's my name, Robert Bleck. It's spelled BLECK.com. That's my website. On there is a book you could look at that you could research it a little bit there, and you could buy it there, or you can go to Amazon. I think it connects right to Amazon, I believe. And you could have my phone number. You have it'll give you my email address. So my website will give you everything you need to contact me.
Excellent. All right. Like I said, two left. Normally I am with one, but for this topic, I feel like I got to get two.
Sure.
My normal last question, which is about authors, because you are a published author, and congratulations for that.
Thank you.
Um, what's your best advice to authors who are out there, who are listening, or want to be authors, right? Who are just not quite where you are yet?
My advice would be to persist in your passion. Persist if it's something that you really believe in, and if you feel you have the talent to do it, just persist. Don't give up, um, and persevere.
Excellent.
That
Excellent.
would be my advice.
Great advice. Appreciate that. All right. And the last question, and this one really just has to do with you and your work in the subject matter. There are a lot of folks that have suffered from this kind of thing, who feel like, you know what, I've been through it. I've tried this. I've tried that. There's no hope for me. I just have to live with this. What can you say to folks? And I did not prepare you for this at all. So I appreciate you even taking it on. And I want to make sure
Sure.
everybody else knows I didn't prepare the doc for this at all. Okay, folks?
Yeah. Yes, you did not.
All
Yes,
right.
I got it.
What can you say to folks um, who really feel like they don't have any hope and there's no point in even trying anything new?
Well, the first thing I would say to you is there is hope. I'm the hope because I healed. I healed and I live a terrific life. I'm happy with it. I've healed thousands and to go on to live satisfying lives. So that's the hope that there is hope. The first thing you do if you don't know where all your symptoms come from is to ask who hurt you. So that's the first part of the way to get to the meat of the feelings of it.
Excellent. Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate you taking on that question the way you did too, and I think that's an excellent answer. So, Dr. Robert Bleck, I love what you're doing. I love that you put so much into this particular topic because there really are people out there who I think kind of feel like, hey, I tried this, I tried that, there's nothing left. I'm encouraged hearing this morning that there is actually something left for them to try and that they ought to try it. So, thank you for doing the work you do, and thank you for putting out the book that you've put out, sir. I appreciate it very much.
And you're most welcome, and it's been my pleasure to be with you.
Thank you so much. All right, folks, Dr. Robert Bleck, author of Give Back the Pain. Go check it out. Look it up. That's been another wonderful episode of the Right Path podcast, where truth still matters and words still have power. Folks, this is a place for authors who know that every page is a step forward. So let's keep taking those steps along the right path.